TALKFCB, and welcome to the biggest club game of the season. It's the Champions League final between Liverpool and Real Madrid, coming there from the very heart of the French capital, the Stade de France in Paris. We are going to be discussing whether it is time for Liverpool's revenge against Real Madrid, or is it going to be yet more glory for Carlo Ancelotti's side? Who is going to win those all-important individual battles? And we are going to be looking in detail at the tactical clash. It is all coming your way. This is a big one. So let's get to it. Because today's big match preview is coming to you courtesy of the One Football app, as you can stay up to date ahead of, during and after this monumental clash on Saturday, along with all of the latest transfer news ahead of what's going to be such a busy summer. And if you do want to go ahead and download the app, please do follow the link in the description down below. And a huge thank you to all of you that do, and indeed One Football, for helping to support the content on the second channel here as well. Because in this game, Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool side are going in search of a 7th Champions League title, which would move them level on the all-time list with AC Milan. And of course, Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid, they are looking for another triumph in this competition, which would take their tally to a record-breaking 14. And as we know, already this season, both Liverpool and Real Madrid have wrapped up titles already. Liverpool have the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup in the bag. Real Madrid have La Liga and the Spanish Supercopa. But of course, the Liverpool, they did come up just short in their quest for the Premier League, and indeed a title that would have secured a treble for them this season, with Man City just edging them in the end. And Real Madrid, to be fair, they've had La Liga wrapped up for quite a while. They've been coasting their way home in the league over the past few weeks. They've been rotating, they've been resting and preparing for this game. Liverpool were fighting until the very final day. So the question that I would ask is, who's going to be more prepared in this game? Will it be the more rested Real Madrid? Will it be the more rotated team coming into this game? Or could Liverpool arrive with sharpness? Could they actually just carry on where they've left off and bring the intensity from the very first minute? That is going to be crucial, because when you are looking at the head-to-head in the Champions League from these two teams this season, Liverpool have been extremely impressive there. 30 goals in their favour, just 13 conceded. And the incredible thing about Real Madrid's journey here to the final is they've already lost 4 games and still they've made it to Paris. And I think strangely, in a very weird sort of way, that might actually give them even more belief, even more confidence that even despite losing games, they were virtually out of this competition, but somehow, some way, they keep finding their way through. And I think you would have to hold your hands up and say, looking at the two routes to the final, Real Madrid, in fairness, the teams that they've beaten on their way here, they have done it the hard way. They have very much earned their place in the end in the final. PSG, Chelsea, Man City all knocked out. Liverpool, of course, had to work hard in the end against Villarreal, but they are also very much deserving of that final place. And in terms of previous meetings between these two giants in world football, of course, in the group stage back in the 2014 to 15 season, it was a very different Liverpool team back then, and it's incredible actually to see the transformation in the space of a few years before, of course, that all-important final in 2018. Gareth Bale with that stunning overhead kick, although, of course, he's unlikely to be involved on Saturday before in the 2021 season quarter-final stage. Real Madrid coming out on top, and Liverpool would say that at that point in time, they were hampered by injuries. But of course, regardless of everything that has happened before now, this is very much a new game. This is a fresh opening and a big chance for both teams here to claim this trophy. But that doesn't mean that everything beforehand has been forgotten. Because as you can see, before this clash, Mohamed Salah, very vocal to say that he was excited. He wanted to play Real Madrid. He was actually rooting for them to beat Man City so that he would have an opportunity to get revenge for the 2018 final, when of course he was forced off injured there after Sergio Ramos brought him down. And ahead of this game, Dani Carvajal, he could not help himself but to respond. He said, I don't know if Salah or Liverpool are in the mood for revenge. When you lose a final, you always want a second chance. But he did say, let's hope that it won't be a burden for Salah to lose a second Champions League final against Real Madrid. Fighting talk there from Carvajal, whereas Sadio Mane, he was much more chilled out. He said, revenge? He said, not for me. That's not my personal stance. I think Real Madrid won in Kiev back in 2018 because they deserved it, because they were the better team. But the question is, in 2022, who will come out on top now? Because when you are looking at the starting lineups for both teams, there are a few players in here who are very much touch and go, where it's very, very close to decide who is going to get the nod. Particularly there, I'd look at centre-back. Will Joel Matip play ahead of Konate? It's a very, very close and big decision for Klopp to make. Do you go with the experience, or do you go with somebody who's come in Konate and been so good this season? I think Matip there is just about going to get the nod. In midfield, plenty of question marks in Liverpool. Fabinho, he's coming back from injury. Thiago, he's touch and go whether he even makes it for this game, but I do think Klopp will start him, and alongside them, will it be Jordan Henderson there again going for experience, with Klopp maybe feeling as though Naby Keita would be a bit too much of a risk? And up front, Liverpool have a wealth of options, but of course it's going to be Salah looking for revenge. Mane, with his future uncertain beyond this season, and the incredible Luis Diaz, who's coming in January and completely and utterly taken the Premier League by storm, which would also leave plenty of options for Liverpool from the bench. And when it comes to Real Madrid, of course it's going to be Courtois, Carvajal, Militao, Alaba and Mendy. We've seen that back line right throughout the season for them so far. Exactly the same in midfield there with Casemiro, Modric and Kroos, the all-important trio that are so key to Carlo Ancelotti. And the question then would be, who exactly is going to partner Benzema and Vinicius? Is it going to be the star of the semi-final second leg, Rodrigo, on that right-hand side? Is Ancelotti going to play him from the start? For me, I don't quite see that happening. I think he is going to go a little bit more conservative. I think Valverde will start in this game over on that sort of right-hand side, supporting the defence and helping, of course, with that energy in midfield. And I think when you do put those two teams up against each other, head-to-head there, when you're looking at individual battles, I think what's going to be so important in this game is the right-backs for both teams. Because you look at Trent there, defending against Vinicius Jr. every time that Trent goes forward. Of course, Vinicius is going to have to work back, but there will be space in behind, and Trent, of course, is going to be massively tested defensively, and you will be looking there at Henderson to help out from midfield, Matip to come across and support him, and that is going to be such a crucial battle. And exactly the same over the other side. Carvajal is going to have to deal with Luis Diaz. There's also the opportunity of Mane drifting out to the left as well, Robertson on the overlap, and that is why I feel definitely that Carlo Ancelotti will employ Fede Valverde to help out there and really provide much needed cover on that right side. But I think in the end, what is going to really go a long way to deciding this particular game, it's going to come down to the midfield. You look at Liverpool there with Fabinho, with Thiago, two players are so integral to their midfield, but both got fitness doubts, questions over whether they're ready to go full throttle for the full game. And you just wonder that as the game goes on, if Liverpool can't get ahead, if they can't make sure that they have an advantage over Real Madrid, I think as this game goes on, the longer the game goes on, the more chance you give Real Madrid to get a foothold in it, to start running and controlling things as the game goes on. But with all of that said, and with all of that in mind, in a game like this, on an occasion like this, there is always a good chance that in the end, it'll be decided on one moment of individual magic. And what better players there to mention than Salah or Benzema to fire their teams to glory? They have been unbelievable this season. The numbers that they've been producing across all the competitions, it's been incredible. And either one of these two players definitely could decide this game. And when we are looking at predictions for this game, I think it's very interesting to see that the vast majority of you guys believe Liverpool are going to come out on top, that Liverpool are going to become 7-time European champions, beating Real Madrid. And I honestly don't know. I'm not going to try and sit on the fence here, but I do think that genuinely Liverpool are the better team. If you had to ask me here, which one of these teams have been more impressive this season, have more quality about them as a whole, I would say Liverpool. It has to be them. Simply on paper, they're the team that you'd fancy. But I can't write Real Madrid off. As much as maybe us Barcelona fans don't want to see Real Madrid win another Champions League title, I still couldn't say they won't win. Because they always find a way, no matter how much you think they're beaten, no matter how much you think they're inferior coming into the game, they're still there. They will still be there until the very final second. And that's why, as much as Liverpool, for me, are the favourites, they are the better team. But don't write off Real Madrid. Because in a Champions League final, in a one-off game like this, anyone can win it. So please, guys, do leave your thoughts in the comments down below ahead of the Champions League final. Do you fancy Liverpool to get their revenge? Or do you believe that it'll be Real Madrid celebrating at the Stade de France? I will also be here after the game for the match review of the final. A big thank you to all of you guys who tuned in today. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you straight after the game. But until next time, as always, it's the Champions League!